In this tutorial, I'm going to go in a little more detail into the strokes features. So right now I have two objects. Both objects have the no symbol over their stroke value, meaning they have no stroke around them, which is why this appears to be white paper. I'm going to go to Window and I'm going to open up my stroke panel. I'm going to make sure that my options are all turned on. I'm going to click on this object and I'm going to put a stroke around it, and the stroke I'm going to put around it is going to be black. Now this object has a white fill and a black stroke. In my stroke palette, I can increase the size of that stroke's thickness. I can also affect, and we'll put a stroke around this one. I'm going to put this as a color that you can see a little easier. Make it nice and thick so you can see the different types of strokes that you can create with the cap and the corners. Caps and corners refer to where the points join together at. So right now, they're what they call a button miter, meaning that it's going to be a nice sharp edge square. But I can make them rounded if I want, and you can see how it rounds them off. Or I can make them angled by selecting my bevel joint. I can also combine these if I want, but most of the time you won't see many effects or anything really change. You can also choose where the stroke is going to align itself. What that means is, in this gray, or rather black square with this green stroke around it, where's the actual stroke? How much does it cover the black and how much of it covers the white here of the paper? By default, it's going to say centered, meaning that this is a 10-point stroke, so 5 points cover the black square, 5 points go on the outside of the black square onto the white paper. But I can set it so that all 10 points are outside, and so my black doesn't have anything covered. Or I can set it to the outside so that I get a true representation of how big the square is. You can also do this with text, but you'll find that unless the text is created outlines, you're not going to be able to have too many features to change here with the align stroke feature. You can also make the strokes on here dashed lines. You can control how large the dash is and how big the gap in between the dashes are. The stroke feature also works on regular lines. You can see that I have features here that allow me to change this stroke to where I can have an arrow on this end, and the arrow end on another end. I can change the size of those arrow heads. I can change the type of ends that they're going to be. Again, I can change the size of them, the scale. I can also change how the line is going to work. This aspect that I'm showing you now, the strokes feature, only works when I have just individual lines. So as you can see, when I click on the square, all of this becomes grayed out, meaning I can't create these kind of features on the square itself. I can only do it when I create a line using the line tool or the pen tool. And this is some of the details that you can use in the strokes palette.